Hi, I'm Nikki.
And I'm Megan.
Welcome to the Grimdark Diaries.
We're your geek gal pals obsessed with true crime and all things dark and disturbing.
Hi, hello. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining us for another episode of the Grimdark Diaries. Megan, I had kind of a true crime moment in the last week, and I want your opinion.
You did?
Well, it's not like a real true crime moment.
Okay, what?
I feel like I just am hyper aware because I like true crime so much.
Yeah, that's fair. That makes sense.
So last weekend I went hiking or walking with my husband. We were walking in our neighborhood, which you know because you also live in this neighborhood.
Yep.
And we were walking on that main street that connects where we live.
Yeah, I know the one.
Yes. So we saw a car parked, and it was just like a little 4-door sedan parked in front of one of the apartment buildings, and the front was smashed in as if it like hit a pole or a tree or something. Like there was a big dent, like the bumper was bent inwards.
Right.
And it was kind of smashed around the lights. And we were like, whoa, like they must have gotten in an accident. And then we got closer, and then there was a smash in the windshield. Like it looked like something went through the windshield, almost like a hole, and then like spider web out.
Yeah.
And then when we got beside the car, the airbags were deployed.
What?
Yeah, and we were like, oh my goodness. But there was nobody around. There was no people, and there was no glass there on the road because I'm a detective, obviously. So I started investigating.
Yeah.
And I see no evidence, and there's no poles or anything there. So I'm like, it doesn't look like they hit anything here. But the car is here for some reason. And we looked around and there was nobody around. So we're like, okay, the people must have gone to get help or they're inside or something. And then I was out for a walk by myself like 6 days later. And I'm walking up that same street. And isn't that car still there?
What?
Yeah.
I would have called the non-emergency police line.
And I wondered if I should. Because the first time we saw it, we were like, oh, because I walk up and down that street quite a bit.
Yeah.
Because I go for a walk every day on my lunch break. And that was the first time we saw that there. So we're like, oh, this must have just happened. Nobody's around.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look like the accident happened right here. So they must live here maybe, or they're like getting help. So we didn't do anything. But then when I still saw it there, I walked home and I was like, should I tell somebody that I saw this? And my husband was like, no. And he's like, they probably live there and maybe they just can't afford to get the car fixed.
I mean, that's also a possibility, and maybe somebody already contacted them, but also
maybe.
Like, what if they were in a hit and run with somebody and the police are looking for that vehicle? Or, what if somebody was injured and then they just drove home and parked and went into their apartment and passed away in there? You know what I mean? Like,
oh my God.
I'm sorry.
Now you're making me feel worse.
I always think of like worst case scenarios. I hate that I'm like this, but this is just who I am. And I always think of like worst case scenarios. So if I saw something like that, that's probably immediately what I would have thought of and called like the non-emergency line, just to be like, hey, I don't know, it's not a huge deal, but if you wanted to check it out, then maybe you would like to do that. I also had kind of like a true crimey thing happen today.
You acted surprised when I said that, but then you're like,
know.
oh, by the way, me too.
Well, because I didn't think of it until right now when we were talking about it, because this actually reminded me of it. We went for a walk today during my lunch break, and we saw somebody walking down the street in all, like, they had a camo green shirt on with camo pants and had like a camo gun that looked like it was like a, I don't know what you call it, like a paintball gun maybe, or something, and it had like the orange tip, so I knew it was like a toy. But they had like a gas mask hanging off their belt, and I'm like thinking, the cosplayer inside of me is like, okay, maybe they're just like going to a photo shoot or something like that. But then they started like pointing it at houses and like popping off shots, and I'm like, I don't know what this person is doing, and I don't know what's actually in that.
So is it like an airsoft rifle?
I couldn't tell because we were too far at that point. Like, we kind of went opposite ways. We were walking right behind them, and then they went off to the left and we went off to the right. So by the time they started popping off shots, it was like, I'm not really sure what they're doing. It doesn't look wrong. It doesn't look like they're about to go, shoot up a place or something like that. But it did look very suspicious. We were like, okay. So one of the girls I was with actually contacted the non-emergency police line and was like, hey, It's probably not a big deal, but we thought we would like call you guys to check it out anyway, because I'm not really sure what this is all about, and maybe you just want to kind of like find out what it's all about, because I don't know if this person has like some sort of, you know, they have a photo shoot going on, or maybe they're not well, or whatever the case may be. Anyway, and they called her back probably half hour, 45 minutes later, and they're like, sorry, we can't find this person, so I'm not sure.
Well, I hope they're doing well.
Yeah, I hope they're doing well as well, and I hope it was nothing. And yeah, that was my experience. I didn't see anything in the news, so I'm hoping we're fine.
I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah, it was probably fine. Yeah, we're gonna go with that until we hear different.
Yeah, it's fine. And that car I saw is also fine.
That's
fine.
Right.
We're
exactly.
Good here.
Everything is fine. We live in our own little blissful bubble of innocence.
Yeah.
Or is it ignorance? I don't know.
Whatever it is, it's blissful, and I like it.
Exactly.
So my category for this week was teenagers are vicious.
Yes, indeed they are.
Which I agree with.
Me too.
For today's story, we are going back to the year the iPhone was released and the year the Spice Girls started their reunion tour.
Oh, no way!
Yeah, 2 important moments in history.
They are very important.
Do you know what year it is?
I'm going to say 2001.
2007.
Oh, wow. I was way off.
Yeah. But that's crazy to think that was the first year the iPhone came out, was only 2007.
Yeah, that is crazy. I thought it was way longer than that.
Right?
Yikes. Are you feeling a little bit old? It's fine.
Linda Damm was a 52-year-old single mother living in Lafayette. She had a 15-year-old daughter named Tess, and the pair had kind of a rocky relationship. All accounts from other family members and friends differed a lot on the details of the relationship and their home life, but they definitely all agreed that this mom and teen duo were just constantly fighting with each other. Definitely not a great home life for either person, kind of by both accounts. Like, neither of them was living their best life by any means.
No, it sounds like they were also probably very similar and got in each other's way a lot.
Yeah.
That's very common with mother-daughter relationships when they're very similar, especially if they're stubborn.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Linda was said to drink a lot, and Tess was definitely having kind of a rebellious teen phase, so they didn't really see eye to eye on anything. Linda's brother and sister said that Linda's struggle with alcoholism really set her into a downward spiral with being able to not only properly care for herself, but also, you know, be a mom and that kind of adult role to Tess. Their next door neighbor said that they could often hear the pair screaming at each other from outside the house, especially Tess screaming at Linda.
No.
Yeah, and Linda had admitted to him that she was having a lot of problems with Tess and they were getting into a lot of fights. In prior years, the police had even been called to the Damm house quite a few times. 3 times for a runaway report, once for a curfew citation, once for a welfare check where an underage drinking citation was handed out, and another time for family-related crimes.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know what that means. I couldn't find what it was referring to.
Right.
I don't know if that just means like maybe they had a fight of
like
some
a domestic dispute or something like that.
Yeah. I feel like if it was anything bigger than that, it would probably be, if there was violence or something, it would have said that, but it just said family related.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's all the police report said in the listing was family related crimes.
Maybe you get called, the cops are called so many times on you that you finally get charged for it. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Tess didn't enjoy school, so she skipped her classes a lot. But what she did like was her 17-year-old boyfriend, Brian Grove. I feel like a lot of teenagers, they get like that when they have a boyfriend or a boy they like. It's like everything is the end of the world when it comes to them.
So true.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Tess and Brian were just so in love that he actually ended up living in the home with them. I find that kind of questionable because Tess was only
Yeah.
15.
Yikes. Well, I mean, it doesn't really sound like her mother was very caring in that regard.
I mean, she was a caring person. I think she just had a lot of struggles.
Well, maybe she felt like Tess needed somebody in her life who was going to be there for her more than she could be.
Maybe it's one of those things. You know how some parents are like, let their kids drink slightly underage, but they're like, if you're going to do it in the house so I can see you.
Yeah, exactly. Could be that kind of scenario for sure.
Tess, like most teenage girls, loved posting online. She, in fact, had a MySpace page that she updated constantly.
Oh, boy.
Did you have a MySpace page?
I did not actually have a MySpace page.
I didn't either.
No, didn't you?
No.
It's so funny because I talked to so many people and everybody seems to remember their MySpace page. But
Yeah.
I've never met anybody else who hasn't, who's close to my age. So it's interesting that you didn't either.
Yeah, no, I didn't have one. I had one of those. There was a website called Pixo, like Piczo, and it was a like make your own website kind of thing.
Okay.
So I feel like it was just another kind of version of MySpace. Like you would upload pictures and then you could make text boxes.
Okay. I had that with GeoCities. GeoCities was another like make your own
I feel like it was
thing.
probably similar.
Similar, yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, if anyone doesn't know what MySpace is, it's like olden times Facebook. So it's kind of like
But music related, right?
That's why it got started originally.
Right.
I think that was the original intention of it, but then it just kind of turned into a place where you could blog.
Like
so you'd write posts and upload photos and so it was basically olden Facebook.
Right.
Prehistoric Facebook.
Prehistoric. That was a great accent that you just did.
Thanks. So Tess was often very angsty on her MySpace posts. She complained about her mom a lot, and she had posts saying that her life was falling apart and deteriorating. Oh. And she would post about her mom a lot, saying she was angry, raging, functional alcoholic. She even posted that her mom had lost her job, and she said apparently on her MySpace that her mom did occasionally become violent. There was none of the family had any proof of that or anything, and the police were never called for anything like that, but Tess did post that on her MySpace.
Okay.
She made posts about trying to move away from home and get away from her mom. In another post, she writes, "Everyone knows the story of me and my mom, and everyone knows how much I've tried to fix it my whole life, and everyone knows how it never works." On January 19th, Tess wrote, "Current mood, discontent. Everyone knows the story of me and my mom. Everyone knows how much I've tried to fix it. I could write a book about how confusing it is trying to please that woman and trying to do whatever I can to get her to stop drinking."
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't imagine how that would feel for a teenager and have a parent who was basically an alcoholic, I assume, or...
Yeah. And her... Like Linda's brother and sister said she was definitely struggling with alcoholism.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't imagine.
Tess also often posted song lyrics. So one post of lyrics that she made is, quote, "Smile, I'ma blow a hole in your neck." Megan, do you know what song that is or what band that is?
Absolutely not. I really don't.
That would be the Insane Clown Posse.
Oh.
AKA ICP.
I know who they are. I didn't spend much time listening to their lyrics, but I spent a lot of time listening to their songs because my ex used to listen to them all the time.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. Was he a juggalo?
Actually, yes. His nickname was Jugs.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Okay, yep. Put a pin in that for later.
Okay, all right. Some stories you find out about me in this podcast.
Yeah. So Tess's boyfriend Brian also had a MySpace, and he fancied himself a bit of a poet. His page had images of tortured demons and flames, and he wrote a description of himself on his MySpace, and it said, "I am dark. My picture might not be menacing, but I do stand a good 6'1" tall, and I am ... all caps, huge, ...
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wow. Super impressive and
Yeah.
menacing.
I saw a picture of this kid. He is not menacing. Bless his little soul. He's not. He just looks like a kid.
Yeah, that's fair. I feel like they all did, but they had big personalities online.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like times have not changed in that regard.
No.
No.
Brian was also filled with teen angst posts. He did post on February 2nd, 2007, and it said, "Knives take my breath away. Trapped inside my wake. Despair? No. Just another day of lifeless."
Wow. So deep.
Right?
And lifeless. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't even know what he's trying to get at.
I
Just
was
another
gonna
day
say,
of lifeless.
I know. I feel, on one hand, I feel for these kids because they are reaching for any kind of feeling, I think. And that would include feeling angsty, in my personal opinion, is
Sure.
the word for it. But
We all feel a little angsty sometimes.
I think so, yeah. And that's totally fine. But then you kind of work through it and move on with your life. And
Yeah.
but some kids just get stuck and they live that life for too long and it just holds them back from everything. So I feel for them, but yeah.
Yeah, I was looking at my Facebook memories yesterday and today, and 10 years ago, I was definitely having some kind of weird angsty moment because I looked at the statuses that it's like, look back on these memories, and I'm reading them, and I'm like, God, what was I going through at that time? Yeah. I feel like a boy just broke up with me or something because I was making very passive aggressive comments, and I don't know what, because that was the time when everybody made statuses.
Vague
on
booking.
Facebook.
Yeah.
I was definitely vague booking about something, and I don't know what it was about.
Oh, that's funny.
On February 3rd, it had definitely kind of reached a boiling point for Tess, and she was complaining to Brian how much she hated her mom and her situation. Brian, being the wonderful boyfriend that he is, wanted to help Tess out. He asked her if she wanted him to take care of Linda for her.
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
We all know what that means.
Yeah. She said yes. She would want that. Her exact response to him was, "Okay, whatever."
Wow.
Yeah, real casual.
Such angst.
Yeah, I feel like when somebody is like, "Hey, do you want me to take care of your mom?" Maybe that's a little too casual of a response.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, man.
I feel like that's my response when my husband's like, "Hey, I'm going to get pizza for supper." And then I'm like, "Okay, whatever." Not,
Exactly.
should I kill this person? Okay, whatever.
Right? Yeah. I feel like maybe that's not, there's no emotion in that. There's no.
No, because then it's like, whatever. If you want to,
Right? Yeah. Like, don't go out of your way or anything, but sure.
No.
Wow. Yikes.
Tess later says that she didn't think he was seriously threatening her. Like, she thought it was just kind of a joke. So that's why her response was so casual. But I don't know if I believe that. Based on what we're going to see happen over the next month, I have doubt. I have question.
Yeah, I believe that. And that's always what they say after the fact, right?
Oh, yeah. You're going to try and place blame anywhere but on yourself.
Exactly.
The next day on February 4th, Brian went into the home by himself and got into an argument with Linda. It got really heated, and according to Brian, Linda told him that she wished Tess hadn't been born because then he wouldn't be living with them. She also blamed him for a lot of the problems and fights that they were having in the household.
Whoa.
Keep in mind, though, this is the story according to Brian only.
Right, exactly.
But this was a sworn statement from him. So whether he's lying or not, this is the only version of what happened that night that we have.
Right. Yikes. Okay. Interesting.
Linda saying this completely enraged Brian. So he grabbed her by the neck and choked her until she was unconscious. He then got a knife and stabbed her in the neck and mouth until she stopped breathing.
Oh my gosh. In the neck and the mouth?
Yeah.
Those are not places I think of when I think of people being stabbed.
I mean, he's only a kid. He's only 17.
Oh, what does he know about stabbing?
Yeah, in our adult years, we're much more knowledgeable about stabbing, Megan.
Right. What was I
Obviously.
thinking? Clearly. He obviously listened to too many of those songs with lyrics talking about, I assume, killing and stabbing in the mouth.
What songs are you listening to?
I don't know. I'm just making shit up. I don't know what kids listened to back in those days.
Kids, Megan, you were alive in 2007. I just told you Spice Girls were on their reunion tour.
I know.
We were spicing up our life.
I was in Calgary at that time, partying it up. I wasn't.
Did they not have
on
music
MySpace. Oh, they had music. They had music for sure. I was listening to them at the bars, though.
I was not.
No. Were you old enough to be in the bars? 2007?
It depends on what month this was.
Is that the year you turned 19?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, that sounds fair. Yep.
Yes, it was.
Okay. Glad we've established that.
Yeah. So when was this? February? I was not of drinking
You're not.
age. But as we established in a previous episode, I had a fake ID.
That's right. That's very true. You did.
Yeah.
So you could have been at the bar.
Yeah.
Maybe not legally, though.
No.
Oh, that's funny.
So what does one do after they kill someone?
Clean up the
Why-
mess. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Megan, if this is Family Feud, you were very quick on the buzzer. You'd be first to answer.
That's my goal, is to win. I'm a winner.
Yeah. Okay. Is it on the board? Do we have clean up the mess?
Yay! Oh my god.
I'm glad that one gotcha.
What did I win? I didn't.
You choose to play or pass, Megan. Come on.
That's right. No one wins in this situation.
No, nobody wins here.
It's true.
So even better, to help him clean this up, he called a friend.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, because that's what you do when you kill your girlfriend's mother, is you call a friend to help you move the body.
I thought that's
'Cause
what you
he's
did when you
just a
wanted
little-
to be a millionaire.
Yes. Yeah, I don't think that's the kind of friendship call that I would like to receive. Megan, please don't ever call me to move a body.
Mm-hmm. No.
We're going to have an issue if you do.
No, I would never do that, and I would never want you to do that either.
Thanks. If you need like a couch moved or something, I'm
Totally.
here.
And I'm going to actually do that and help you with that in a couple
Yeah.
of weeks. But no, definitely not a body.
No, or like a really good reason why there's a body.
I mean, well, that's relative, I guess, in the moment.
Yeah. According to Brian's statement, he called his 16-year-old friend Jared, who came over to the home, and he helped him wrap up Linda's body in sheets, and then they moved it into the trunk of Linda's Subaru, which was parked in the garage at the home. A few days after the killing, Brian was at an IHOP with his best friend, 18-year-old Jared Guy. So both of his friends are named Jared.
Okay, I was
which can
gonna
be slightly
say.
confusing, yes.
Yeah.
So 16-year-old Jared helped him move the body right after the murder into the trunk. And now his best friend is 18-year-old Jared.
Okay.
So he's at the IHOP chilling with his friend Jared.
Yeah.
While enjoying their lovely meal of possibly waffles. That's what they sell at IHOP, right?
Yeah. Pancakes. That's what I think of. I think of pancakes when I think of IHOP.
Yeah. Spoilers,
assume.
we don't have an IHOP here.
We don't. No, it's very sad.
I heard we were supposed to get one.
Did you?
Yeah.
Here?
Yeah, in Burnside.
What?
Yeah.
I can't
Maybe
even
I made that up.
imagine that here.
We're getting a Denny's.
Wait, don't we have it? No, we have Smitty's.
No, we do not. That is a U.S.
Oh,
thing.
we have Smitty's. No, there's Denny's in Calgary where I used to live. In
Well,
Alberta.
Calgary and Toronto have the
Oh,
U.S.
right.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I have a funny Denny's story.
Oh,
Actually.
okay. I can't wait to hear this.
So one of my best homegirls, Alana, for her 30th birthday, her husband flew her to Las Vegas.
Oh, yes.
And then also secretly flew me to Las Vegas
right.
the next day.
Yeah.
And didn't tell her. So then I surprised her and was like, yo, what up? So then we got to celebrate. And then he left us there. So it was just the two of us in Las Vegas.
Amazing.
Up to shenanigans. Yeah. And then spoilers for anyone that hasn't been to Las Vegas, there's a lot of drinking that happens there. You can literally drink anywhere and everywhere.
Wow.
Yeah, you just walk around. Yeah. You just walk around with open alcohol.
What?
Yeah, the only place we couldn't have it was on the bus. We took a bus to go shopping and you couldn't bring open alcohol on the bus, but that was it. In the mall, you know how in our mall, there's little kiosks that sell like back massagers or wind chimes? No, they're all alcohol kiosks.
What?
Yeah, you buy, I could tell you a million Vegas stories, but this one's about Denny's.
Okay.
So one of the nights we were drinking, I can't remember one of the nights, but we were just drinking. And so we woke up the next day and we were feeling real dry. We were a little hungover, very dehydrated and very hungry. And we decided that we wanted breakfast. So we set out on a mission because we thought there was a Denny's really close by. And we were like, okay, we think it's just up this street. So we started walking. And I swear to God, it was like blocks and blocks. And then we'd be like, no, it has to just be up here. And we just kept going. And we just got more and more hungover.
Oh,
and
no.
By the time we found the Denny's, we were like on death's door with a hangover, just like desperately needing carbs and like a Gatorade so badly. So we went in and they sat us down. And the second the server came and she was like introducing herself and like handing us menus, we were like, water, please, water. And she just brought us like 2 huge glasses of water. We're like, coffee. Yeah. And she brought that. And then we wanted, I think it was orange juice. So we immediately ordered orange juice and she brought that. So now we're up to like 3 cups each of like a juice, a coffee, and a water. And we're chugging it. And then we kept asking for more water. And instead of refilling our glasses or taking the old glasses, she just kept bringing us new glasses of water. So by the end of our meal, we have a picture of it somewhere. There's like 30 glasses on our table because we were just so hungover.
That's hilarious. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we looked insane. There was like families having breakfast and I mean, it's Vegas. Like, what do you expect?
True.
And our table was like nothing but glasses. At one point, we were like, can you take some of these? And she was like, okay. And she took like one and replaced it with a new one.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, anyway, that's my Denny's story.
God, that's so good. I love it.
Yeah, it's good times.
Good hangover stories.
Yeah, so anyway, they weren't at a Denny's. They were at an IHOP.
Okay.
So Brian and his best friend Jared were at an IHOP. They're enjoying their meal. And then, I mean, what else do you share with your friend over a meal? But other than the news that you killed your girlfriend's mom. So,
of course.
Yeah. So
what a great place to tell that to your best friend.
Right? And I'm sure that there's not anyone else in that restaurant that could overhear it.
Especially depending on what time of day it was.
Oh, yeah. So he told him that, he killed Linda. But what Brian told him, it was a very different story than what he later tells police. So the one I already told you was what he told police. But what he told Jared is that he stabbed her purely in self-defense.
Oh.
He said Tess called him in a panic because Linda was chasing her around the house drunk. When he showed up, Linda was choking Tess, so he threw Linda off of her. He said that Linda then came at him with a switchblade knife, so he wrestled the knife away from her and then turned it on her and stabbed her to save himself.
Wow. Why wouldn't he have told that story to the police?
I don't know.
Maybe because Tess couldn't corroborate it, maybe, or he didn't want to bring her into it. He didn't wanted to make her not there.
Yeah, or maybe he just crumbled under authority.
Oh, maybe, yeah, I suppose. I don't know if I believe any of those stories.
No. I'm going to be real with you. I don't either.
No.
Jared said Brian always says stuff that's not true and tries to make himself sound a lot tougher than he actually is. Mm-hmm. So he didn't believe him when Brian first told him.
Well, if his best friend doesn't believe him, I definitely don't believe him.
No. And he even said in his report to police, this Jared guy was like, Brian's my best friend. I consider him a brother. I don't really believe what he says. I'm like, what? That's step one, that he shouldn't be your best friend.
Not standing behind my best friend at all.
No, but we're going to see right now that Jared maybe isn't quite a big brain thinker. So he doesn't really believe him because Brian always says stuff like this. So Jared then asks for proof.
Oh. Okay. How do you prove
Yeah, he wants
that?
proof. Yeah.
Oh, no. Is he? Oh, God.
Yeah.
Realization just hits in. What is he going to do?
Well, that's when Brian leads Jared back to the Damm house.
Of course.
And brings him into the garage, pops open the trunk of Linda's Subaru, and Jared could see what looked like a body wrapped up in bloody sheets.
Oh, my gosh.
Yep. And then Brian lifted the sheets to show Jared, and as Jared describes it, it was not a pretty sight.
Really? I mean,
Yeah.
how many days has it been? It was one day later?
A few days.
Oh, God.
Yeah, Jared couldn't remember what day it was. He's like, it was one of these 3 days. I feel like the day you see your first dead body, I'm hoping it was his first dead body. I feel like that would be burned in your head.
Forever. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But he was like, oh, it was either like maybe like the 7th or the 8th or the 6th. Like he didn't know.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Yeah, he doesn't sound like the brightest bulb out there.
No, these teens they're on a different level. I can't even. I feel like if somebody told me, yeah, I killed somebody, the last thing I would say is, could you maybe show me some proof?
Right? Yeah, exactly. I don't want to have anything to do with that.
No.
Get me far away from that. Be like, ha ha ha, good joke, bro, and then move on and change the subject.
Yeah. Okay, Megan, I got another one for you. Because we're playing Grimdark Family Feud,
yeah.
remember?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Apparently.
Okay, yeah.
You invented it. Okay. So, Megan.
Yes.
If your friend just showed you the deceased body of the person's house that you're currently in, what do you do next?
Call 911.
Is it on the board?
What the fuck?
No.
What?
That's not what Jared did. That's not what Jared and Brian did.
I'm so sad I got it wrong. I kind of figured I'd get it wrong, but that's the right thing you should do.
That is the right thing, but that was not on the board, unfortunately.
That's really sad.
No. So what they did next was Jared, Brian, and Tess hung out in the house and watched a movie together.
What?
Yeah.
At this point, does Tess know?
Oh, yeah, Tess knows.
Oh,
Tess knows the day it happened.
Oh my gosh. And she's totally like, okay, whatever about it.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's when Brian said to Jared, well, the house is mine now.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, that's not how that works. I'm sorry to say, young child.
I literally wrote in my notes, that's not how that works.
No, it really is not.
The housing market would be very different right now if that's how that worked. Oh my God, it would be the housing Hunger Games.
It would be also a little bit like The Purge.
Yes. Also that.
A mixture of The Purge and Hunger Games. Can you imagine? That is like the most vicious style movie that could be real life.
TM, TM, TM.
That's right. You heard it here first.
Yeah. After they were done hanging out and watching their movie, Brian drove Jared home. Jared claims that on the drive, when Tess wasn't around, he just totally crumbled and started crying, saying that he effed up and he feels horrible. And he's like, I don't know what's going to happen. But I feel like I don't know. You have the dead body just chilling in the house. I don't know how much of that is crocodile tears.
Well, but on the other side of it, like, you're a kid still and you are an angsty teenager, so you are acting a certain way because you want to project to the world that you're feeling a certain way. But then when you do something that is so permanent, like killing somebody, that may hit you in your younger brain side of you where you're like more of an innocent person and think, holy shit, what did I just do?
Yeah.
Like, it could have been one of those kind of moments.
Yeah.
I don't know, because he's trying to be like this big tough guy for his girlfriend, right? So maybe in front of her, he's holding it all in, and on the drive in front of his best friend, I don't know, maybe he feels a little more comfortable being a little vulnerable. Yeah. I don't know. It could go both ways, honestly. I don't know him, obviously.
Yeah. There's slight hope for Jared because after this little breakdown, he told Brian he should go to the police and tell them what happened.
Wow. Okay. Jared, hello. Where was that knowledge earlier?
Yeah, you could have won Family Feud with that one.
Right?
Sorry, Grimdark Feud.
That's right. Grimdark Feud.
Yeah. But mind you, this was because Brian had also told him the story that it was self-defense. So Jared is thinking that, it was an accident, it was self-defense. So he was like, oh, go to the police, explain what happened, they'll understand.
That's true.
Right.
Very
But
true.
if Brian knows that it was not self-defense.
Yeah, like what would have happened if he opened the trunk to show Jared the body and then Jared just pulls out his phone and wait, do they have cell phones? I don't know. Do people have cell phones
Megan,
back then?
What did we establish? What did I open this story with? What happened in 2007?
I know it was the beginning year of the iPhone, but that didn't mean everybody had an iPhone.
No, but phones existed before iPhones. Did you not have a sweet flip phone?
I did have a sweet flip phone, but I wasn't 16 and had a cell phone. I was like 20. I was probably 20 when I got my first phone. Maybe 19.
Really?
Yeah. I was living in Calgary when I got my first cell phone.
I had one when I was like 17, but it was only because my mom had one for a while, like an old school Nokia with like the antenna that pulls up.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And then she got a new phone, but for some reason it just happened that there was like an overlap. Like she got like a new Motorola phone that also had an antenna, but you didn't have to pull it up. It was just up there.
Yes.
Yeah. And it just happened that for some reason she had the Nokia and the Motorola at the same time. And anytime I'd go somewhere, she would give me one of the phones to be like, oh, in case you need a phone. But obviously I wasn't like, there was no data on it and there was no texting other friends and stuff. So then I had one. And then when I went to university, she let me keep it and take it with me since I was moving away from home.
Right.
So I did have a cell
that was
phone.
Nice.
But they didn't do anything back. You couldn't do anything on it.
No.
Except play Snake.
Text. Oh, yeah. You could play Snake. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That game was awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
but it was
awesome,
T9 text. So
That's
you got to
right.
hit the buttons like 1,000
Yes.
times.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. ABC. You had to hit the 1 3 times. And then.
Yeah.
Oh, my Lord. T9 text.
Yes.
That takes me back to the tiny little phones. The phones were so small. They were like the size of 3 of my fingers.
Yeah. My
They're
Motorola
tiny.
Razr was the best. Those pink flip phones.
Oh.
Do you remember those?
I don't think I had a. I didn't have.
Oh, they were very popular.
Did I have a flip phone? I might have had one. Okay, not pink though. I would have had black or blue. I like the colors of Bruce, apparently.
Oh.
Actually, no. Now I usually go white because pure soul and all. So.
Oh, is that the story we're going with?
That's right. That's what I'm sticking with. Yeah, I think I had a flip phone. I can't remember now. Oh my God, that's really throwing me back. I mean, it was like 20 friggin' years ago. I don't like to think about that, but it's my 20-year high school reunion this year.
Oh my goodness.
I know. I don't think we're doing anything, but that's how old I am. It's really throwing. It's really
in case
throwing
anyone
me
was
off.
wondering, Megan
True.
just dated herself.
It's really throwing me off. Yeah.
Okay, so back to Brian and Jared.
Yes.
So Jared told Brian he should go to the police, tell them what happened, and Brian refused. He said instead he just wanted to bury the body and kind of cover it up. Now Brian goes into kind of full cover-up mode, and Tess and Jared are both on board with helping him. At one point, they were going to dump Linda's body, but on the way there, they ended up turning back because they got stuck in the mud of a nearby landfill. And so they just kind of panicked and decided to just go home. So then they just took her body home. Yeah. So this whole time, Linda's body is still in the trunk of her Subaru. We're now at just over a week after the murder.
Oh my gosh.
And Brian hatches a new plan for them. So Brian, Tess, and Jared drove Linda's vehicle, with her still in the trunk, to the southwest corner of Green Mountain Cemetery. It was the middle of the night and no one was around, so the trio tried for 2.5 hours to dig into the frozen ground.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
My
but the ground was
God.
frozen, so it was very hard
Of
to dig
course.
into.
Yeah.
And spoilers, to bury a body, you need to dig a very deep, large hole.
That's right. 6 feet under is a saying for a reason.
Yeah. They ended up only able to make a 3-foot by 4-foot grave, and it was only 1.5 feet deep.
Yikes.
Yeah, so not really the correct size you need to
Not at all.
conceal a body.
No.
They planned on digging deeper, but it had been 2.5 hours, and then they heard a noise, and they were worried it was the cops, and they got kind of spooked. So they decided to just stop the grave where it was and dumped Linda's body in it. And then they tossed the dirt on top of her and decided that that was kind of good enough.
Oh my gosh.
Mhm.
Ugh, the stupid just hurts my brain too much.
Oh, yeah.
Holy frig. Oh my gosh.
Because the grave they dug wasn't very deep, it was very obvious that something was buried there. And it left kind of like a hump in the ground of the fresh dirt because to pile her up and put the dirt on top of it, you could clearly see something was there.
Yeah.
This made Brian super nervous, and on the way home, he decided to just drop off Tess, and then he and Jared went back to the gravesite, dug her body back up, put her back in the trunk, and drove home with her again and parked it in the garage.
What the frick?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Those boys. I tell you.
So now we're at 2 failed attempts of getting rid of the body.
Wow.
Next comes what any responsible teenager would do.
Oh.
Megan.
Oh God, I'm sorry.
What answer on the board?
I want to call 911.
Would a responsible teenager do that?
Yeah. I mean, maybe.
So is that your answer?
Yes.
Is it on the board?
What the hell else can a responsible teenager do?
They party.
Oh, for frick's sakes. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Right. So you were saying that facetiously. I understand.
Oh, I was.
Totally.
Do you really think that these are responsible teenagers?
I don't, and I was actually confused. That's why I didn't answer right away.
Yeah.
Of course they partied. Does Tessa know the body is back in the trunk?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because they told her. They were like, we're going to go back and get it. She just didn't want to see the body again. From
fair.
what I heard, she didn't make a lot of comments, but Jared said that Tess didn't want to ever look at the body. Like when they were moving the body, Tess wouldn't look at it. Even though it was wrapped in sheets, she still didn't want to look at it.
That's fair. It's her mother.
Yeah.
I feel like no matter how much you don't care or say you don't care because you're pretending, or not pretending, but playing that angsty teenager part, you're still the child of this person.
Oh, yeah. So not only did they party, but they partied constantly for over 3 weeks.
3
in the house.
weeks?
Yes.
What?
Yeah.
Where do they get the booze and alcohol and drugs or whatever from?
Well, they had Linda's debit card.
Oh my gosh. Well, I guess that wouldn't be suspicious activity if she also was keen to buying alcohol.
Yeah. So they used her card through this next a little over 3 weeks. And they were later quoted saying they used the card to do teen stuff.
Oh, what the hell does that mean?
It's been a hot minute since I was a teen. I'm going to guess their stuff was not my stuff as a teen.
No, definitely not.
No, I used to think I was bad when I would drive to the gas station and buy 2 Red Bulls and drink them in the same night. That was like a wild thing for me.
Super wild. Oh my
Right?
gosh.
Crazy. I was very hopped up on sugar. So neighbors heard a lot of loud music from the house over the weeks. They constantly saw teens going in and out. So it wasn't just the 3 of them. They were inviting people over to party. At one point, one of the neighbors saw Brian riding on the hood of Tess's car. So they were completely wild in. Apparently, the front yard was usually kept pretty clean. And they said it was littered with cigarette butts and alcohol bottles and stuff like that. So the neighbors definitely noticed that something was going on.
Yeah. Well, when teens are left alone for any length of time.
Oh, yeah.
Get a little wild.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Now, let's also remember that Brian and Tess loved their MySpace pages.
Right.
They did go a little bit quiet on there right after the murder, but as of February 11th, they were fully back at it again, posting like normal. At that time, Brian actually had to travel down to Florida for a few days with his dad to visit a tech school. So Tess spent some time alone in the house, still with her dead mother's body in the garage.
Are you kidding me? Oh my
No.
gosh. Like bury a hole in the backyard or something.
Right?
Oh my gosh. I mean, if you're not going to call the cops, I mean.
While he was away, Brian posted on his MySpace saying, "My baby, I miss you. I'm here without you and I hate it." To which Tess wrote back, "Baby, I miss you too. It's hard to do everyday things without crying. You're going to be really happy when you come home. Your wifey cleaned up the house and did all the laundry for you." Smiley face emoticon.
Wow. They're like an old married couple.
But 2 days later, she then writes, "I lied about the laundry." Frowny face emoticon. There was too much to do. So I did a lot of it, but there's still a lot left.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh, that is just wow. That is
Right?
a teenager's voice for sure.
Yeah. She was definitely busy doing some laundry because she washed Brian's bloody clothes and set fire to the bloody sheets in the backyard.
Oh,
Yeah. So she was doing some cleaning for sure.
right. That didn't have any calls. I'm guessing maybe they had a fire pit in the back.
Yeah, they must have. On February 19th, Brian posted on his page saying, "I did things that I shouldn't have with my 2 hands. I just want to drink a barrel of cyanide to make this pain go away."
Dear Lord, that is
Yeah.
excessive and completely unnecessary. A barrel of cyanide. Oh my Lord. You only need a drop.
Right? Jeez, Megan.
I can be pretty morbid sometimes.
You might think that perhaps he was having some kind of decent human feelings, maybe some feelings of regret, remorse, perhaps. Or maybe he just regrets doing something for a chick who doesn't appear to be so in love with him anymore.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, we got the
Mhm.
MySpace tell-all today.
Yeah, okay.
So on February 24th, her page read, "I don't understand how 2 people who are in love, quote, can have so many fights in one day." All caps. "I'm done with giving you money to buy cigarettes. I'm no longer just your money source."
Wow. Okay. Well, isn't her money that she has coming from her mother?
Yes, spoilers. It's not your money either, Tess.
Exactly. Also, isn't that money going to dry out pretty quick or what?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
On February 26th, so 2 days later, she wrote, "I'm so amazingly bored."
Oh my god. Okay, but yet you have your dead mother in a trunk in your
Right.
garage. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
Oh,
bored.
honey.
I'm so
You're
sorry
bored
to
now?
hear that, right?
Yeah. 3 weeks of
Mhm.
partying with your friends and spending your mom's money is boring.
I just can't. Oh my gosh. Oh, okay.
Surprise. Teens with no structure.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Right?
This is why all
Gets
teens
boring.
need structure, routine.
Now we're nearing the end of February. Linda was murdered on the 4th of February. So we're over 3 weeks after her murder, and she's still in the trunk of the Subaru in the garage. The teen trio hatched a new plan to try and get rid of her body. For this 3rd attempt, they were going to drive the vehicle to Wyoming and dump her body there. I don't know why Wyoming. I could never find a reason why that was the magical place.
Maybe they assumed crossing state lines wouldn't make them suspects.
Maybe.
Especially
I'm
if
not
they
sure.
couldn't identify her body. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Someone that they let in on the plan wasn't too keen on this, though, and police received an anonymous tip about what they were up to and where Linda's body could be found.
Finally.
Right?
Oh my God. Thanks, Jared. I don't know.
I don't know who the tip was from. It could have been Jared. I don't know. Even maybe Tess did it. Maybe she was feeling bad. Somebody did it. It was anonymous and it stayed anonymous. So
interesting.
Investigators headed over to the home to follow up on the tip on February 28th. I feel like that's also a wild tip to receive.
Yeah, seriously?
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like part of you would be like, no, this can't be right.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Exactly. Like, it has to be something else. Yeah.
When they arrived, they found Linda exactly where they were told she would be. Exactly where she was left for 24 days.
24 days.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. There must have been like nothing left of her.
Oh, the decomp would be so bad.
What a sin.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That makes
and
me
I
so
don't
sad.
Like, she was in the trunk of a car in a garage.
Right.
I don't imagine there was like air conditioning or anything in that garage.
No.
I mean, it was February, so it could have been cold. I'm not sure.
I don't even want to think about the smell.
No.
That's so gross.
Tess and Brian were arrested and taken in for questioning pretty much right away. To nobody's surprise, the pair gave conflicting stories on exactly what had happened over the last 3 weeks.
Right.
Both teens were held without bail and prosecuted as adults. I feel like that was the right move, for sure.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. They obviously were very aware of what they were doing.
Oh, yeah. Brian was charged with murder, conspiracy, and evidence tampering, and Tess was charged with conspiracy, accessory, and evidence tampering.
Yep. Makes sense.
They also told on their two friends, Jared and Jared. Those teens were also then arrested as well.
Good.
Brian was held at the Boulder County Jail and was put on suicide watch because of unspecified comments that raised jailers' concerns.
Well, considering most of them had those words on their MySpace page.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like they all should have been on suicide watch.
Linda's family was contacted after all this kind of came out, and then they held a proper funeral for Linda. Thank goodness. The poor woman's body was so disrespected. I feel so bad for the family.
So
like, finding
sad.
out.
Can't imagine.
No. The judge wouldn't allow Tess out of jail for the funeral, which I think is good on the judge.
Yeah. She didn't care enough to do anything about the murder and the mother decomposing in the garage. Yeah. You don't deserve to go to her funeral.
No. She paid her so much disrespect. I don't.
100%.
If I was the family, I wouldn't want her at that funeral.
No, me either.
Linda's brother and sister made a statement afterwards saying they wanted Tess to know they love her, but they also believe every person involved in this horrific crime that resulted in the death and desecration of our sister should be held accountable. Tess had originally pleaded not guilty and was scheduled to go to trial in May, but then ended up pleading guilty to second-degree murder as a juvenile and to solicitation to commit second-degree murder as an adult. The juvenile charge carries a sentence of 5 years in the Department of Youth Corrections, which is the maximum sentence for that plea. And then the adult charge came with a sentence of 18 years in prison.
Wow.
Brian had been charged with first-degree murder, but prosecutors reduced the charge in exchange for a guilty plea. In November, he was instead charged with second-degree murder and was sentenced to 40 years in prison, being eligible for parole after 30 years.
Oh, that's not good.
No, so he could get out in his late 40s.
40, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, I don't agree with that. But maybe that's all they could get with the story they had.
Well, I'm assuming that they would have probably ran it by the family saying, you know, he's willing to do a guilty plea and we won't have to do the trial and, you know, bring up everything about what happened to Linda.
Right.
Like, usually if there's some kind of plea deal, the family has to also agree to it.
Makes sense.
So I'm guessing the family agreed to
they
this.
Didn't want to go through all that.
No.
Makes sense.
16-year-old Jared Smith pleaded guilty to an accessory charge for helping put the body in the trunk of the car, and he was sentenced to 2 years in youth corrections and 6 months of parole.
Okay, interesting.
18-year-old Jared, he pleaded guilty to tampering for helping the couple try to dispose of the body, and he was sentenced to 6 months of work release, 6 months of electronic surveillance, and 3 years of probation.
That's because he's the anonymous tipper.
So both the Jareds took plea deals.
Right.
Clearly, Jared guy, he got a way better plea deal. I
Did
feel
he
like he cracked
ever?
first. Yeah.
Right?
He did no time whatsoever.
No.
Just parole and surveillance.
Yeah, exactly. That definitely. I don't know. It was anonymous, but I still think it was him.
One thing with this case that got a lot of attention in the media when it all kind of broke is that Brian claimed to be a juggalo and Tess was a juggalette.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the terms.
Yes, that was going to be my next point is, Megan, do you know what this means?
Well, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, for anyone that doesn't know,
Yeah.
it's just people, there's a band called Insane Clown Posse, and the fans of that's what they call themselves, juggalos or juggalettes.
And they sometimes wear the makeup. With
Yep, they do like
diamond
clown
black
paint or
eyes. Yeah.
corpse face paint.
Yep.
Yeah, and they have like a yearly gathering
They do.
that I'm pretty sure is just called The Gathering.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it. I remember.
I'm pretty sure it's called The Gathering.
It's super original naming. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah. And for anyone that doesn't know that band, they're like a hip hop band, but it's like horrorcore, I
Yes,
believe is
it is. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know that much.
I
but-
actually, and it's so funny, like the lyrics I don't really enjoy, but I like the music. So it's like,
That's fair.
it's kind of like a love-hate relationship with me and the music, because all of the songs obviously have such catchy, like the catchy tune or whatever to go along with the actual lyrics. And some of the lyrics I'm just like, oh my God, this is excessive.
Yeah, it seems like maybe some of them are excessive. And then some of the fans, I mean, with anything, some of the fans are kind of intense.
Yeah.
So I feel like they get a really bad rap, but like the juggalos get a bad rap. But
yeah.
just because you're a juggalo doesn't mean you're a bad person. It just
No.
means you're a fan of this particular band. But
Exactly. Yeah.
it's one of those things where people are like, oh, somebody did something bad and they wear scary face paint. So
It's now associated.
they
with
associate
that.
them all.
It's so true.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it has nothing to do with that. I've met a lot of good people who consider themselves as juggalos, and
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
amazing people that I would never think that would ever do anything like that.
No. But then because the media is the media, once they heard that they were into this horrorcore music and they were juggalos, then it got super like sensationalized.
Of course. I hate that.
Yeah.
I hate stereotyping.
Oh, yeah. This case actually had a bit of an update more recently.
Oh, okay.
Yes. In April of 2019, Tess was actually released on parole.
Oh,
She served just over a decade of her sentence.
okay.
She applied in 2018 to the parole board, and she really highlighted the fact that she was a dumb teen at the time of the murder and like just I didn't know any better. She wrote them that the person that she is now at the age of 25 is drastically different. And in the past 10 years, thanks to various treatment opportunities that she got through the prison system, like they definitely did try to rehabilitate her, that it opened her eyes to the person she used to be, and she's able to see the thought process. This is like a quote by her. She said, "I'm able to see my thought process that led to my crime, and I know that I will never find myself back in that place."
Wow, that was very, very astute of her.
Yeah, and according to, because like obviously they have to check with like prison staff and stuff, and everyone said that like, yep, she has made a solid effort to better herself.
That's amazing. I love to hear actual rehabilitation stories at a jail. Like,
oh yeah,
I hear so many stories of people going to jail and they just end up finding new people to get in trouble with later when they get out of jail, and they literally learn nothing. But if you actually do the work and do the rehabilitation stuff that they put together for you to do in jail, like you have a very good chance of coming out into the real world and being a good human being.
Yeah, I mean, she let her mom be in that house for a month, but she also didn't commit the murder. And if Brian had not been there, like I don't think Tess would have ever escalated to murdering her own mother.
No.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I could see, and she did serve 10 years of the sentence.
Yeah. I am all about second chances, and
absolutely.
If it is actually believed and genuine that you have been rehabilitated and you actually word it in such a way, I know there's also people who manipulate, so that's another thing you kind of have to watch out for, but if you have honest to goodness put in the work, and even the people in jail and the people who can see manipulation a mile away because they've been trained to are saying that they believe you've been rehabilitated, then I truly believe that you deserve a second chance to come out into the world and try to correct your life for the better. So,
well, Tess is out now. I tried to find if I could find anything like about her, but I couldn't. So hopefully that means that she's just rehabilitated and doing well.
I wonder if she would have changed her name.
Maybe. I would. I 100%
I probably would too. Yeah.
I feel like it's kind of rough though, because you spend 10 years in prison to get let out in April 2019 to less than a year later. COVID happens. Bam! Pandemic. Yeah. And I mean, being in lockdown is much better than being in prison. Don't get me wrong. I'm not comparing those two things, but to be like, freedom, I can live a free life. Right. And then like, damn. Just joking.
Yeah, that definitely would suck. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, but I'm sure she's obviously much happier being in lockdown.
If you can be grateful for being out of jail, and even though you're still in isolation, it's for a completely different reason. It's actually for everyone's health and well-being. That's a totally different reason to be isolated than, learn to be grateful for what you have, and
exactly.
You're going to live a good life.
Yeah. Well, that was my story of vicious teenagers for you today.
That was a great story, Nikki.
Thanks.
I really enjoyed that one. That was like the true definition of angsty teenagers.
Yeah.
Wow. So I guess it's my turn to roll.
It is your turn. Don't blow it.
I'm not going to blow it, and I'm also going to roll on hard surfaces from now on, always. Okay, listen to me roll. That is a 6.
Ooh, big number, big number.
Is it though?
In terms of our rolls?
Yeah, yes. That's fair.
Yes, it is.
That's totally fair.
We should just roll with a 6-sided die, because we're never going to get past.
It's so true. Our D20s are no longer 20-sided. Worst day ever.
Oh, wow.
I feel like
I'm excited.
Every single case that could apply to, so I'm gonna have to really think hard about what
find a juicy one. You know, I love a true crime with like some twists and some turns, or something that makes me go, oh my goodness.
I know, and I love finding those kind of stories too, and they're so like hidden in nooks and crannies on the internet, and I love searching for them. I love doing the research for these stories. So worst day ever, I'm definitely gonna find something good for that one. So, if you want to follow us on social media, you can find us on Instagram at The Grimdark Diaries and Twitter at Grimdark Diaries. We don't have the on there, as we've said before. We didn't have enough characters, so...
And Facebook.
And on Facebook, yeah, that's right. You can find us on Facebook at The Grimdark Diaries as well. And if you would like to send us an email with some of your stories, or if you just want to email us and say hey, because we love to hear from people, you can email us at thegrimdarkdiaries@gmail.com. And if you have an Apple podcast that you're listening on, we would love it if you would give us a 5-star rating and give us a comment if you want to. If you really enjoyed the episode, we would love to have a rating from you. I mean, if you go onto Podbean, you can always leave us a comment. We love reading our comments from our listeners. So if you enjoyed the episode, feel free to leave us a comment and let us know what you think. Join us next time to see what I come up with for worst day ever. And remember, a friend in the dark beats alone in the light.